Okay, so here I am. I just struggled my ass off to get the shower caddy. I never used this type of shower caddy before. It's a tension rod. It goes in the corner, not on the floor of the bathtub, but it goes on the upper part, the part that goes around the tub. You got that little extra space in there. You could put soap in there on top of that or whatever. But anyway, that's where it sits, and then it goes up to the ceiling. You have to figure out how to get the height in there. And oh god, so I should have put sneakers on, but I didn't. And I had socks on and I fell backwards, and I just hope that I'm okay. Sometimes my body doesn't reveal what I've injured until the next day or a few days later, and then I hurt something terrible. So hopefully I'm okay. Hopefully. I'm going to show you Dr. Orna. She's got Boris and Jessica. And Boris, she's a psychotherapist. They're married, and he's just an example of what you don't want to deal with when you have a supposed connection with someone. This is not the type of person that you want to be married to. You don't want to have children with this person. You don't, look, you talk to them in passing. Hi, how are you? How's the weather? What do you think of the weather? And you move on. You don't have a relationship with this person. Okay? And Jessica is was his wife, and I think she's a psychotherapist also. And he is such a whiner. I can't stand that shit. Everything is wrong. Everything you do is wrong. You can't even buy tomatoes correctly. You can't go shopping correctly. He was pissed off because she bought the wrong tomatoes. He's pissed off that he has a house and had to put a filter in, which takes 2 seconds to put a filter in, and that was a pain in the ass for him. You got people living in their car. You got people living on the street. You've got people living in a tent in the woods, and you're bitching because you have to put a motherfucking filter in? Are you kidding me? This is why, ladies, you cannot jump and get married. You have got to take your freaking time. You do not want to have children. You don't want to be married to this person. Forget about kids. You don't even want to be married to this person. You don't want to have a relationship with this person. He's a whiner. You're going to have a big fight about tomatoes? For God's sakes, you got people dying of cancer. You've got people that never recover. They have what's called long COVID. And you've got people like me with chronic illness. And we don't know what day is going to bring what pain. And you sitting here whining about fucking tomatoes? And a filter? For the love of God, you have got to be kidding me. He reminds me of my ex-friend. Whine, whine, whine. Rage, rage, rage. Get mad, mad, mad. Default setting. I'm mad at everything. Why do people like this exist? Why do people like this have to make everyone else's life a miserable existence? Why? Thank you, Jesus. They're divorced. Thank you, Jesus. They never, ever, ever should have been married. Never in a million years. Do you want to marry someone like this? And if you are seeing this person for 6 months to a year, honey, I'm telling you, you're going to see signs within 3 months of them being miserable. Why is the line so long? Why is everybody talking so loudly? Why is the sun burning so hard? My sunglasses aren't even working as well as they should. It looks like it might rain later. Why? I hate when it rains. Some people are miserable in their own skin, and there's not a goddamn flipping thing anybody could do about it. The only thing that could happen that might help, but is doubtful, is he's got, and people in the comments, I'll put the video in the description. People in the comments were going, no matter where he goes, that's where he is. Exactly. You know what that means? That means that you're a ball of misery. A walking ball of misery. So you keep relocating from state to state to state. And you're still miserable. And you could find something terrible that is just unbearable. It's only a matter of time before you got something to bitch about. You can never please these people. Ever. I do not know what in the hell possessed her to marry him. I don't. I do not. And the sad part is, and he does have narcissistic tendencies. Is he a narc? I don't know. But I'm leaning more towards yes. Because their dumb asses are never happy either. You could go above and beyond for them. They're happy for 30 seconds and then they're miserable all over again and need their dumb, raggedy ego fed all over again. They are miserable within themselves. Miserable. Absolutely miserable. There's nothing you could do to make this person happy. They could live, I don't know, in the Caribbean and they could hit the lotto, move to the Caribbean, have a butler, maid, and a cook every day of their life. They will have enough money from the lotto to live the rest of their life comfortably without ever having to work again. And his ass will still find something to complain about. Never fails. You are a mouse on a wheel. The harder you run, the more miserable they are. The harder you try to please them, the more angry they get. He micromanages everything she does, everything she says. He even says, and my other ex-friend from New York did this stupid shit. When I would express something, I'm wrong. Because he's a dunce and he can't handle somebody with a brain. And he's jealous that I'm smarter than him in a lot of aspects. And I know a lot about things that he doesn't fucking know about. So instead of using that opportunity to learn what I know, he wants to stomp on what I know and tell me how wrong I am. He reminds me of Boris. And like I said, these are clients of Dr. Orna. They are miserable, miserable, miserable. There is nothing in the world that you can do to make them happy. They are the types of individuals that will sit in a restaurant and bitch because the waitress is taking too long. Now, I was in a restaurant recently and I was bitching to myself because the waitress, she did take a long time, and I'll tell you why I had a reason to be mad. I was on my best behavior. You guys would be impressed. I did not go up on her. I didn't snap on her or anything. I tried my best to keep myself together. But she was stupid and she's lazy. When you don't have any customers, you should be all over the customers you have because there ain't nobody else up in there. Why does it take you to almost 10 whole minutes to bring me another breadstick? Why does it take 10 minutes to get a goddamn drink? I don't drink alcohol. Not that kind of drink, okay? You don't have that many customers. What's the holdup? Do you not want a tip? Is that the problem? I fucking hate that. I had chronic pain for the longest time, and when I worked in a restaurant, I worked at a place called, what's it called? It's like an Arby's, but it's not called Arby's. I forget what the hell it's called. It's in Connecticut. And I ran like a freaking nut job. I was a hostess for the lobby back in my younger years. And I kept the main salad bar and the side fixins bar, both bars. It was my responsibility to keep them filled on my shift. Because tomatoes, lettuce, pickles, and onions go fast. Because those little sidebars are small. And everybody wants fixins. Everybody wants those on their burger. Or whatever they got going on. And... or their roast beef or whatever the hell. I can't remember. Anyway. And then the main salad bar I had to be responsible for. Which went slower. So I didn't have to rush to get that done. And if anybody in the lobby needed something, which they usually didn't, then I would be there for them. If they said, do you know when you'll get more pickles? Because I noticed they're gone. Pickles were the fastest to fill because I didn't have to hand cut them. They came in a bucket of super cold, whatever it's in. And you just put a plastic glove on your hand, you scoop them out, and you slap them on the thingy. But everything else had to be, as far as I can remember, had to be cut by hand. Which you have a machine that does it, a slicer. So, but still, they go quick. Lettuce, pickles, onions, all that, all that goes super quick. So I was constantly boom, 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 boom. I didn't have time to dilly-dally. The hardest work, some of the hardest work you do is restaurant work because you run and you run and you go 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 and you don't have time to rest. And if you have chronic pain, like I eventually got chronic pain, good luck. Good luck. I had to quit a job because I could not do it. I worked for a week and the agony in my back felt like 10 elephants were standing on my spine. And I told my boss, she's such a sweetheart. I told my boss, I called her on the phone. And I said, are you going to be in? What time are you going to be there until today? She said, don't tell me you're quitting. I want to talk to you in person. What time are you there till? And she told me. She's smart. She already knew. I didn't want to tell her on the phone because that's kind of rude. So I told her in person. I really liked her. She's so likable. And I told her in person. I said, I hate to do this to you. I am so very sorry, but I have severe pain in my back. And running around my body has zero tolerance for that anymore. I did it for a week and I did the training and everything went well. And my body said, yeah, no, no. I don't have the luxury of eating bonbons and doing my nails. I actually had to freaking work. Okay. Yeah. So that's the way that goes. But she's a fucking lazy bitch and I'm pissed. Anyway, so there's reasons, there's legitimate reasons for you to be pissed off. But to be pissed off at every little minor thing, and that's Boris. If the sun shone that day, it shined that day, but it only shined for a half a day, he's going to be miserable the rest of the day because it's cloudy out. I mean, he can take I freaking hate this. People will take a microscope and they will search for problems. By God, I will find the problems no matter how small they are. I will get a high-powered handheld microscope and I will start looking for fucking problems. You are never going to be happy with someone like that. You are never going to be happy with a friendship with someone like that. You're never going to be happy with a relationship. You're damn sure not going to be happy in a marriage with this person and having kids with them. You got to be smoking something. Now the kids have to be subjected to whichever partner's a sour puss. You gotta be kidding me. Some people were born miserable. Well, I don't want to say born miserable, but they had something traumatic happen to them and they have never addressed it. And to make matters worse, they refuse to see what their problem is. So I'm going to keep berating my partner and poking at my partner, and I could give you a legal pad filled with all this person's flaws. Meanwhile, I'm not going to pay attention to any of my flaws because I don't have any that I know of. But I could give you a mountain, a mountain of problems that I see in my partner. Because I'm going to micromanage and I'm going to study them and I'm going to find every tiny flaw, whether it's imaginary or not. Avoid these people. Stay the hell away from them. I want you to see the video. I'll try to copy the link and put it, and hopefully it'll show up correctly. I'll check it. But it's Boris and Jessica. And oh my God, he drives me absolutely insane. I've also told you about Mao, M-A-U. Mao was married to Annie. They were also clients of Dr. Orna. And Mao is the biggest narcissist you will ever see in your life. Well, correction. One of the biggest narcissists you'll ever see. He's the type of person, if he's hurt your feelings, he would say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you're hurting. I'm sorry that you feel this way. He's not sorry for what he's done or said. I'm sorry you feel that way. He is so cocky, so arrogant, so pristine. He's never done a wrong thing in his life. People just don't appreciate how great he is. He even made the comment one time, if I'm thinking that I want to, something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, if I think I want a glass of water, she should just know what I need and give it to me. And Annie was like, that's very maternal. It sounds like you're looking for a mom rather than a partner. You'd be surprised how many guys are doing that. Yeah, they want a mother. I hate women, but I have to use them as a mom. And when I'm not using her as a mom, I'm going to use her as a sex toy, which is really sick. Do you have desires of being with your mom that way? Because you're creeping me out. What the hell? What the absolute hell? So anyway, yeah, Mao and Annie are divorced, thankfully. Thank God, because he is horrible. I don't know. I scratch my head and I don't have any idea how she was attracted to him to marry him and have a kid with him. Did you never speak before you got married? Because that's the only thing that could justify marrying someone. And if you've never had a conversation, that doesn't even justify. That's all the more scary. Why have you not had a conversation with this person? You just got to know what you're signing up for. And if they're a chronic whiny baby, you got to get the hell out of Dodge. You got to. So anyways, I don't mean to do that. Crap, I don't mean to do that either. I hate when I do that. Anyway, it's absolutely insane. Just absolutely insane. People are insufferable. They are unbearable. And as I said before, the more people behave in such a negative manner, it makes the rest of us say, hell no, stay away from me. I don't want none of y'all talking to me. All of y'all stay away from me. Every single last one of y'all stay away from me. So, yeah. Anyway, I just can't. I don't blame people for isolating. It isn't healthy. We are social creatures. But at the same time, we have to have strong boundaries and know when to cut the line. You know how, kind of like when you're fishing Okay. One time I was fishing in Florida. There's nothing better. I love the ocean, right? There's nothing better than getting off work and going straight to the beach. I mean, my God, that's perfection, so far as I'm concerned. So, myself and the person I was with at the time, we were fishing, and something grabbed a hold of my line, and it was powerful. And it literally had me on my toes, on my tippy toes. And I'm going, ah, 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 ah. And I'm dancing on my toes because I don't know what to do. And this thing is powerful as hell. Well, he reached forward and cut the line because I wasn't capable of doing it because I was freaking out. So that analogy is what we have to do in our own lives. We have to know when to cut the line. Things are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's time to cut the line. To this day, I don't know what was on the line, but you're talking the ocean in Florida. Good God, it could have been anything. It could have been a baby shark. It could have been a barracuda. Some of the smaller fish are extremely powerful, but I'm telling you, it wasn't. It was strong enough to pull me in. That's why I was on my tippy toes freaking out. Because it seemed like it was going to yank the hell out of me. And like I said, it's Florida in the ocean. Okay, please. There's a long list of what that could have been all about, you know? So, anyways, you guys take care. And oh, I don't know if I told you this. I guess I didn't. I went to see Jaws. I did. I went to see the 50th anniversary of Jaws. They had to do work to it digitally to improve the way it looked and to fit a big screen in a movie theater, and it was awesome. And I'm going to sit here and tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you, you know me, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. At one point I screamed. I'm not going to lie. I screamed. I can't tell you which part it was, but if you go see it, then I'll tell you because I don't want a spoiler alert. And then a couple times I was freaking out. Yes, you know what's going to happen, but my God, it's been how long since I've seen it? So it was almost like seeing it for the first time, if that makes sense, right? And I'm talking to the screen, and, you know, pretty animated. Pretty animated. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I really did. Now, here's the thing. When I went to go see it, which I literally have not been into a movie since the C word, and everybody had to be quarantined and you couldn't go no damn where. I haven't been since then. So it's been a long time. And of course, there were times that I wanted to go and there wasn't anything. Look, I'm going to go on a small rant. There haven't been decent movies for years. Because for some strange reason, the movie industry is producing a tremendous amount of a lot of sci-fi. That don't do nothing for me. I'm not into Avatar. I'm not into all this, different planets and sci-fi weirdness. I'm not into that. And you're going to get a lot of, this is what's been going on for the past couple of years. And I guess they're running out of ideas for movies because now they're bringing movies back. Like Back to the Future will be coming out at some point. And there was another movie, I can't think of the name of it. It's coming out in the future, soon. So, I don't know if they're running out of ideas or what, but I did enjoy Jaws. I was debating on whether I was going to go see it or not, and I'm glad I did, and I screamed. And, so when I went there, I said to the young lady that works there, I said, is everybody going to see Jaws? Going to see Jaws? And she said, actually, no, they're going to see the Conjuring, whatever the hell it's called. Conjuring. I don't know what that's all about, but if anything is exorcism or any kind of weirdness like that, I don't mess with that. Anything that's, I don't know. I'm just some genres of music, or not music, of entertainment. I'm not into that. The Exorcist, and there's just certain things that I'm not I'm not, there's nothing about that draws me to it, is what I'm getting at. So, but yeah, Jaws was fun. It was really fun. Anyway, you guys take care.